Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 WSSEA fall season. We've got an exciting best of five, and it's going to be a saucy matchup today. We've got hot sauce. We've got my friend in the digital right here, soy sauce. How we feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling great. Good to be back in the Rocket League scene. Nothing like a good best of five, and WSSEA always delivers. So I'm excited to get into this matchup.
Yeah, we've got Wapato taking on Naches here in this one, and Wapato in their preseason was 0-1. They didn't have the best preseason, but they came out swinging in the regular season. They're 1-0 to start things off, looking to keep that undefeated streak alive. On the other side, Naches 1-1 in the preseason, had an extra game to play, but they are 0-1 in the regular season. Both of these teams have already had their early bye as well, so looking for dubs from here on out.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes when you have that early bye to get into kind of a flow, get some momentum going, right? Because you get that repeated pattern on your schedule of game day each week, right? This is our time to really tune in, but having that early bye can sometimes throw things off. So having that extra little bit of time to break, maybe they've come up with some different strategies, gotten extra time to practice, but they're looking to get back into the flow state here.
Yeah, and it's an interesting story for both of these teams. Both of these teams have two new players in here. For Wapato, it's been a little bit about rebuilding. The coach said it's a little more hands-on. He used to kind of sit back and watch them play. There was a lot of skill there. A couple new players, so getting more involved, having fun, learning themselves, and going over how to play the game with a couple of these new players. On the other side of things, the coach was saying that these two new players have some experience. LCD, Vexer, and Vigorous coming in, newer players, but with a lot of experience working with their senior in Hatman to see if they can get some dubs here.
And I think it's interesting, too, because Naches with this lineup, right? Like you said, a couple newer faces, but it's a program that now has been building up some experience. They've been in the scene for a little while, so sometimes the transition of players helps, and having that experience, even though you get some younger faces, getting into that format, having someone like the coach, being in your ear kind of helps them grow quickly and establish an identity early.
Yeah, and as you saw those starting lineups there with some alternates as well, got some depth to the roster. But before we get into this matchup here, it is a best of five reminder to everybody, but we want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring this broadcast to all of you, help showcase all the amazing young talent we have here in Scholastic Esports. So be sure to show your appreciation by giving them a shout out on social media. Use hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag Zotac USA and let us know who you might think wins today's game.
It's going to be an exciting matchup here. I think the key for both these teams is to just get that first goal off the board. Who can jump out to an early lead? It's a lot easier to play from ahead, so getting that early advantage is the key for me entering this matchup.
Yeah, and I look for those aggressive teams. Who's looking for the bumps or the demos? Who's trying to get up into the air and challenge that ball or look for some crazy play? I feel like a lot of these aggressive teams tend to have a little bit more success. It's not always the case, though, and so we'll look to see how both of these teams opt to attack it here. Of course, there's many different play styles, but in a 3-on-3 and a best of five now, Wapato about to take on Naches. And again, Wapato's got their first dub on the board. They're feeling comfortable here. Naches, a tough start to the season, but now ready to get their first dub.
Yeah, ready to build some momentum if they can find the win here, but it's going to be difficult, like you said, right? Both teams kind of eager to get underway, and I think it's going to be interesting to see, right? Because we're still pretty early into the season. This is that type of moment where a win off a bye week or a win this early can propel yourself forward into the regular season and into the postseason.
Well, here we go. We'll waste no more time. The kickoff here, and now onto the pitch. Smallerist up into the sky, looking for one off the backboard, but already pressuring out. Not able to find that clear they were looking for, and a little bit of some squirrely action here to start off. That's pretty normal in our opening game, our first game jitters that we like to talk about.
And Naches is the one kind of applying the early pressure, but like you said, just some maybe a little overexcited on a couple of these early challenges. The Hatman going to launch one in, but it will be easily played away. And you can see that, Naches is willing to kind of throw this ball in from distance, right? Challenging from afar. That's going to lead to some good chances, and they'll find the first marker because of it. It's Smallerist on the board.
Yeah, and this is a nice touch from Smallers, puts it up right in front of the net. We saw the defense trying to knock it away from that net, but they can't quite get a card to the ball off the crossbar and into the net. Naches able to put this first one on the board. So, but you take a look at the clock, right? 4:19. It can seem like an eternity in a game like Rocket League. So plenty of time here for Wapato to find their one back.
Yeah, plenty of time indeed, as they got to start with this transition game. They were able to make a couple plays at the ball defensively in that kind of first minute, but in terms of getting the ball into the other half of the field and gaining some offensive possession, that's going to be the key for them, because with this kind of long-range attack that Naches has, you're going to lead to a couple chances like this. That's going to be the follow-up from the Hat Man, and they'll take a 2-0 lead.
That's the senior coming in here for this one as well, circling back like a shark in water. And unfortunately for the defense, we just saw a lot of bumping around together, a little bit of a triple commit, starting to lose all that that boost once you're going after defensive stop. So they run out of boost in the tank, not able to find that defense. Naches will enjoy a 2-0 lead here. And unfortunately for Wapato, still searching for that first goal.
And I think that whole sequence really started off of that air dribble towards the backboard. They find an extra touchdown, and sometimes when you are on the goal line, as much as Wapato is, you can get kind of caught in a weird spot if the ball pinches out at an odd angle, and then your flip just doesn't quite catch the ball. And I think that whole sequence just starts off of that kind of disarray, off of that realignment. So we'll see if they can adjust to that here, as they'll find a good clear out from the corner for the moment, but that challenge is going to be on target. Good save made by Necrophage.
Yeah, nice shot, but an even better save to keep that one out. Wapato looking for something in transition in front of the net, but it's a big booming clear the other direction. Wapato kind of going for this designated goalie at the moment here. So right now just trying to keep Naches from putting another one in. We'll see him get across midfield. It was a good attempt through the sky, but can't quite find the touch they need here.
And when we see this kind of designated goalie strategy, the biggest key for them is to make sure that when they commit to the ball, they make contact. They are the last line of defense. It's like in hockey, right? You clear that goalie out. They have to be able to get the puck away, to a defenseman, to a teammate, or at least get it over top of the encroaching offense. So that has been the key for them, and they've been able to do a good job of it so far. It's just a couple of these early shots have found their way through.
Yeah, and we see that with a lot of newer players as well. And as they start to get a little more comfortable, you have them cheat out a little bit more toward mid so that they can keep that drive alive, those third man rotations. But right now it's Naches knocking at the net one more time, trying to keep the drive alive. They bump into each other here in the battle zone in front of the box, but it has been back and forth. Wapato, a big booming clear, one they desperately need, and now a shot from Necrophage almost tucks it into the back, but it's LCD Vexer with a beautiful save.
That was a great shot by Necrophage, going for that back post, but the rotation comes through from Vexer. They picked up that side boost, stayed along the wall just in case the shot went high, and they're able to aerial off the wall to make that stop and preserve this 2-0 lead.
See how long they can preserve it here. Wapato still searching for that first goal on the board, and if they can find it in the next 30 seconds, they'll give themselves plenty of time for an equalizer. Speak and you shall receive. Unfortunately, it's the other way this time. Smallers, Naches, they'll find their third, and maybe not the final nail in the coffin, but certainly an additional one.
That's a tough break right there, a double commit, and when you're playing the ball off your own wall like that, it kicks it right back out, basically into the high slot for a shot to come through, and it's an easy follow-up for Naches to advance on and take a 3-0 lead, and now with short time remaining, Wapato really up against it.
Oh, and we're starting to see Naches get really comfortable with each other. This synergy here, I mean, Vexer has the call out, tucks it right in front of the net, is there, but guess who else is there? It's Smallers coming in from the center of the field, making sure to punch it in, making sure to capitalize on these opportunities in front of the net. It's a great start here for Naches, but we're only in game one of best of 5 for Wapato. Even if they lose this first game, I'd like to see them at least be able to put a goal on the board and see if they can start to work with some of that momentum.
We'll see what they can come up with here, as they're Stuck playing defense for the moment, but this could be an odd man rush the other way. Great cutoff by Vexer. Seeing that situation, recognizes they have to challenge early, and that prevents the odd man rush the other way.
Ooh, big demo off the clear from Necrophage, though. This is going to open up the back of the net just a bit, but Necrophage on respawn, able to get there in time. Looking to go coast to coast. The shot is good, and Necrophage has done it. It comes in a bit late. They might not be able to win this game one, but now we're starting to see some of that confidence out here on the pitch. They get one on the board, and it's something they can build off the back of.
You were talking about aggression, right, in the early game, in the pregame, as we were talking about the matchup between these two. They get a little bit more aggressive. Necrophage was one of the players typically on that back line, and he goes forward and he finds a clean shot on goal to beat the rest of the defense. So we'll see what they can do with that headed forward towards game two, but Naches can just play for time here and run out the clock in game one.
Yeah, it's certainly a victory here for Naches. They get to go up into the driver's seat, which can be very important in a best of five. But you're right, that's what I want to see more from Wapato. Yes, it's nice to have that designated goalie, maybe a little bit of a security blanket, but if you're having offensive breakaways downfield, at best, you're still only going to have a 2v3. So it's all about working that third man forward about half field, trying to keep that drive alive, those third man rotations, circling out toward far post, and seeing if you can get just a little bit more involved. When we saw Wapato do that, they snuck in a goal. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of that in game number two.
And you can see the difference in the statistics too, because the moment that Wapato were able to advance forward, push out a little bit, the shot total evened out a bit more. Smallerus had 10 shots on goal that game, but the majority of them came in that first half of game one. So you can see the difference in playstyle on what it means to have that full man rotation.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of times we call our game one our feeler game. You're trying to feel out your opponents, see what kind of play style they're operating with. Now here in game two is the time to make those adjustments. It's a booming kickoff that favors Wapato. Can they capitalize on it? Naches goes by the ball, but Necro, not the touch they needed. Pigley trying to hold on here. Smaller is bumped by a teammate as well, and all kinds of sporadic action here in the opening moments.
Was that going to sneak through? No, it goes off the crossbar, the last second touch. That shot finds the post instead, and Smallerus will keep it in. But Wapato will be able to deny the opportunities. Just couldn't quite find a chance, but that bump's going to come through. Smallerus will play cleanup off of Vexer's bump, and Naches strikes first once again.
Yeah, this is great. I always ask for players to look for that play after the play, whether it's a pass or a shot, and we see that from Vexer. The pass towards center continues to travel forward, knocks the designated goalie away from the net, and just makes that goal a little bit easier for that squad. Naches, an early lead here yet again. Wapato needing to battle back from behind.
Oh, another demo comes through, that time from the Hatman, and now it'll be lofted up. Vexer going for an air dribble, but that's a great pass to Smallerus. Look at the change in direction, and that will give Naches a 2-0 lead.
We talked about making adjustments from game one to game two, but it has been Naches that's done that. They've realized that Wapato is going with a designated goalie. We've seen 2 bumps or demos now in that net. So Wapato is either going to have to change it up a little bit, look for some of those rotations, or when you hear that car coming, just simply hop over it, let it go under you, and then let them have to deal with that. Unfortunately, Smallerist isn't done yet. 4 shots, 3 goals already in the first 55 seconds. He'll find a hat trick.
Smallerus takes up the 9-iron for this chip shot, lofts it over all 3 defenders and sneaks it underneath the crossbar still to make it 3-0. You can tell this Naches offense, right? It can have a little bit of variety to it, right? We saw early on they were attacking from distance with shots closer to midfield. We saw aerial passing plays. We saw the backboard pinch, but now they're finding other passing plays here to really kind of open up their full offense. This is exciting to watch, but that could be a turnover if they're able to turn it on target, but a demo comes through instead, and no boost means that Naches is able to get back and defend.
Yeah, Naches doing a great job of boost consumption. We see the big demos when they matter most. Necro, who had that goal in game number 1, gets dangerously close here as well. Vexer, though, looking for the flick. Can't get by, but he almost muscles it in. Who else but Smallerus to look to be the biggest one out there? He ate the Wheaties, he hit the weight room, and he pushes this one on in. Already up to 4 here in game number 2.
Vexer has the start of this play with the dribble, and he misses the flick high, but the fact that it went outside, kicked off the post, left that last defender back for Wapato in a bad spot. Their flip doesn't make contact with the ball, and it's an easy follow-up for Smallerist, and all of a sudden, the lead advances to 4-0 here in Game 2.
Yeah, it's a tough early start, but Wapato, they've got the fight in them. They're not going to quit until the very end, until that whistle blows, and that's what we love to see. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a mishap, and Smallerist here to take full advantage of it. We see Necro trying to step out. He gets a nice touch, but unfortunately, not a ton of mustard. Smallerist picks the pocket, drops it right into the back of the net. Naches up by 5.
I mean, that felt like a pick six, right? You throw the ball right down the middle as the defender's cutting across, and it just lands perfectly on the nose of his car to kick up into a, light air tap to make it 5-0. Well done by Naches to kind of play this smart midfield defense. They're just not allowing Wapato to traverse through the midfield.
Yeah, it's been tough. They've been doing a great job of applying relentless pressure, but we do see him triple committing a little bit downfield. If Wapato could find a big booming clear, it's something that they could potentially transition into an open net, but it is Naches, a booming clear back the other direction. A little pong here, so call him off. Wapato around the corner, and now the horn not able to find the touch. There's Smallerist, and this one will float toward midfield.
Could be a chance here. Good kick out towards the midfield. Vexer misses. This is bouncing on target. Smallerist will race over to make the save. Iggy will not be able to make contact there. Gets beat over top. 2 players commit. That pinches out up high. And a good kick out once again. Wapato doing a much better job of getting the ball out of their own defensive half. It's just a matter of sustained offense now. They're getting maybe 1 or 2 shots, but can't quite find that third follow-up.
Yeah, I'd like to see them find some bumps or some demos of their own. I feel like Naches has kind of been controlling those, and we start to see him get a little more physical downfield, especially Necro here leading that charge. Unfortunately, it's already back the other direction. 1 defender to beat, but it is a nice stop here from Piggy.
Ooh, that challenge though. Oh my goodness. The Hat Man, the benefactor. This is just an unfortunate bounce right to the Hat Man. He gets in front of it, but it kicks right back to the nose of his car. Crossbar and down, and Naches 6-0 lead in Game 2.
Certainly looking very strong here in Game 2, picking up where they left off in Game 1, but even better because so far they've been able to hold Wapato scoreless. And unfortunately, the troubles continue a bit longer. Smallerist is absolutely on fire here in Game 2.
He had 10 shots on goal in game number 1. He's got 6 goals here in game number 2. He is a gunslinger right now for this Naches offense, being everywhere he needs to be, and a massive benefactor of it. 7-0 lead, and he's got 6 of them. This is a game to remember for him.
Put it on the highlight reel, he said. Maybe a little montage later, but Vexer says, I want an opportunity to showcase some of the aerial mechanical abilities I've got here. Necro reads this play, scoops up on it nicely, tosses it to the sidewall over the head, though. It's a dangerous spot, but has some help. Can't find the clear they need, and now Smallerist smells blood, strikes again. Naches up by 8.
Flexing the muscles here, right? We've seen him with some long distance shots. We saw him go for an air dribble, but here he just outright wins the challenge, and there's 2 defenders there to try and get a read on that ball, and neither one can block it. And Smallerist again getting on the board.
Yeah. I mean, when Smallerist starts to score, he then scores in bunches, and doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. Wapato, we know they're capable of scoring. Just need that opportunity downfield. Unfortunately, they find themselves playing defense once more. Piggy, gotta credit them as well. Using one of these smaller cars, the hitbox is not as big, a little bit tougher to use at times, but hey, I certainly respect it.
Oh, this could be an opening here. Oh, great pinch there. That was the Hat Man kind of waiting for an extra second. Couldn't quite control the ball. That's a good bump, and save made. Rebound chance in front. Follows through on the fake, and there's a chance, and they will score.
Let's go.
They're on the board with 9 seconds to go. That's what we were looking for from Wapato.
Hey, you love to see it. We talked about it earlier, and this is why I love watching schools like this. I mean, even though they're down 8-0 with only 20, 30 seconds, they don't give up. They continue to fight to the very end. They steal a goal away here, and you love to see that for Wapato. And so, that's like we said, they've got two newer players. They're still looking to rebuild a team this year, and sometimes you're going to have some rough games like this. The fact that they're willing to continue to fight, I think, really speaks volumes for them. Game 2 doesn't go their way, but hey, it's a best of 5, and we have seen reverse sweeps for, so there's still plenty of time for them to work it back. But unfortunately, at this point, it is do or die. They have to either win or go home.
I think the big key for them, obviously, right, they're taking a lot of shots against. Naches is doing a pretty good job of kind of holding the midfield line, but like you commented on, it feels like very often all three of them end up in the attacking third, so there are opportunities to sort of fast break the other way, and Wapato's offense is pretty efficient when it gets scoring chances, right? Even though it's only one goal per game, the percentage, right, the shooting percentage is still pretty good for them through the first 2 games. They just got to ramp up the opportunities. They've got to find a way to break through that midfield line, and then they'll be in a closer match. They cannot afford to allow players like Smalleris to just run wild and run rampant on that offensive side.
Yeah, we see him kind of sitting in front of the net at times. We just got to go back to some of those basic fundamentals as that one sneaks in from Smalleris. But it's just about going back to some of those basic fundamentals, those rotations, always toward that far post and out. If you don't see anybody behind you or in front of you, then you should probably go for the ball. You're probably that first person. And it kind of works with that communication as well, because we see him kind of getting a little bit stagnant around that net. You almost always want to keep the car in motion in a game like Rocket League. And so that's why rotations can be so incredibly important.
That's the other tough part, too, though, for Wapato, is that the speed Naches is playing at, too.
Yes.
The fact that they are so aggressive, so quick to get forward. Some of these bounces you can see, off the ceiling, off the wall. You can tell Naches has a quick read on it, and they're not really giving Wapato time to react to the play, especially if the shot has some power. But this is going to tie things up. It's Necrophage throwing it off the wall to himself to tie this game up.
And this is what I'm talking about. When they get down here and give themselves opportunities, a lot of times they can leave with a goal. It was Piggy disrupting the defender in front of the net. And then the nice pass to themselves here, Wapato, they find an equalizer, and they find it early this time. But can they continue that momentum? They've got to continue to play like this for another 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
They might be able to find something here. This is an odd play. Vexer gets a good challenge on it. Could be a follow-up shot. No touch there. Smalleris is going to break through. He's got the boost. Fast break the other way into the empty net. And Naches is back in the lead.
And this is okay, because obviously Wapato is a little bit far forward here, but I think they've had a lot of troubles being stuck in their own half. So I'd like to see them taking a risk, taking a gamble in here, what could be that last map or last round. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay off for them this time, but it's good to see them stepping up, trying to get downfield, and just trying different things here as the series goes on.
And that's a kind of learning moment too, right? When you advance that far forward, I think it was Piggy was the last one back. He's potentially there to make the save. Just took a wide angle trying to get boost along the way. You recognize it later in replays in that moment. Oh, I have to cut earlier and not go for the corner boost there. Maybe I can take some pads. But still, those opportunities are going to happen in the early parts of the season.
Yeah, and you're right. Sometimes it's hard to dissect that while you're playing, but that's why VOD review is huge. Not just individually, but as a team. Sit down, review what happened, what went wrong, and what maybe you could have done differently. You make a very great point in that, as we see Wapato getting a bit of a half clear, stopped around midfield. They power on forward. There's nobody home in the net, and it's that booming clear we talked about. But the MVP, the most valuable post, keeps it out one more time. I feel so bad. I don't know how that one didn't go in.
My jaw dropped. I was sure that was going in, and somehow it stays out. 2 players for Naches dive on the goal line to fork that ball out of the net and make sure that it stays a 2-1 lead as we approach the halfway mark. And Naches is trying to advance on it as they've got possession here in the offensive zone. They're working through the corner. Vexer, double tap, triple, trying to find a 4th, a 5th, all the way across the entire backboard, but couldn't quite turn it on target.
couldn't turn it on target, and now it's Wapato looking to turn it downfield. A nice stop here, and time to pick up where they left off. Can't get the secondary touch. Necro circling around here as well. This one put right in front of the net, but Esports 7 not quite able to orientate the car in that correct position to put a shot on target. Necro will look for a clear and maybe an opportunity, but Naches beginning to quicken the pace once more.
Couple of these chances now for Naches have rolled dangerously across the backboard. It's something that we saw them do a little early on in the series around game 1, where they were able to launch themselves from midfield, go for those aerial taps, but they haven't been in the best position to do that this time around. If they can kind of reorient themselves in the offensive zone, they'll find that chance. Smaller, it's good kick out to the middle there, or kick out to the wall there. Don't want to allow that ball to go to the middle where Wapato was lurking.
I mean, we're not really seeing a necessary designated goal for Wapato anymore. At times, we're seeing all three members downfield, and I love to see this from them, making adjustments as the series goes on and continuing to grow and get better here, but they'll find themselves down by 1. They've got time to get this equalizer here. We'll see if they can find a way to pressure it downfield. Right now, it's Naches that's applying all the pressure through the sky, and Vexer will drop it on into the back of the net.
Another tough break here for Wapato. They kick it up the wall and then get demoed, so they can't follow up the play. Vexer is there to scoop it up, launch it towards net, and it finds its way through to a 3-1 lead for Naches.
Nice 2-point cushion, but you can't get complacent. You got to continue to do what's working for you here, because Wapato, they've begun to quicken the pace as well. Unfortunately, it's the Hat Man, and Wapato has done a great job on defense here in game number 3. Naches now finally starting to pick it up to that team that we saw earlier that was scoring in bunches. But again, I think this speaks volumes for Wapato's ability to kind of make these assessments as the series goes on. We've definitely seen them play much better here in game number 3.
Absolutely, and I go back to the variety of offense for Naches that they've thrown at Wapato this series, where the goals are coming from. Even in that last sequence, right? They found the one pocket that Wapato could not find a touch or defend on, and then it's a backflip that stops the ball dead in its tracks to make sure that the follow-through and rotation goes to the next Naches player. No player on Wapato could follow up, and when you have this many ways to attack, it just makes your offense so threatening for a team that you can tell is just sort of going through the learning curve right now. But that might be a chance in front. Well saved away by Vexer.
A beautiful shot there from Wapato. Unfortunately, it is Naches to step up and find the save now through the sky. Just 8 seconds left in this one as Naches tries to break out the brooms and close it in dominating fashion. But hold up. Wait a minute, it's Wapato Esports 7 to walk this one on in. It maybe come in just a little bit late, but they get their second goal. They cut that lead in half, and hey, with a kickoff goal, maybe they can find a third.
Dodge the demo, get the ball right down the middle, no player back for Naches. Good goal by Wapato. Unfortunately, it's out of time. It's a 3-0 sweep for Naches, but what a series this was.
Yeah. I mean, from 4-1, and then we really saw Naches step it up 8-1 in game 2, and now Wapato coming out here in game 3. They get an early goal within the first minute. They find a second goal as well, and both the offense and the defense for Wapato Wolves looked much, much better in game 3, and so they've already got one win on the season. They will fall to 1-1 thus far, but Naches, who was still searching for their first dub, will get it here tonight, and a lot of great highlights to go along with it.
A lot of great offensive chances. Again, just the way they were able to attack. Smaller has had himself a day in particular in that second game, but just the number of chances that they were able to generate, they've got to be feeling good about themselves moving forward.
Absolutely. We always say there's winners and learners. You get back to the VOD review, you see, you break apart, and just you learn and continue to grow, again, not only as an individual, but as a squad as well. And so that's what we'll look forward for Wapato and their next showing you next week. But Naches, like we said, GG's to them. They'll get their first dub on the season and see if they can begin to build with that. Again, both of these teams sporting 2 new players here. So a lot of room for growth, and they're only going to continue to get better.
And with these new faces too, right? I think you and I both kind of saw that early game, the number game number one, there were a couple early jitters, but by game number three, both teams had kind of really settled in, and it felt like the closest game between the two teams. So to see that kind of adjustment, right? That's why getting off to an early start is so important. These adjustments that these teams make can really turn a series around late. And although it was a little too late for Wapato, I really liked what they were able to show by game number three.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they kept it close and it was fun. And it's tough to make adjustments as a series goes on as a whole. It's easier to make those adjustments as time goes on between week in and week out as you play more games under your belt. So again, a big GG's to all the competitors. It was a lot of fun here today, but I do want to give another quick shout out to LandFest as well, because this broadcast is part of LandFest's Scholastic Esports program. It's a program that supports this league and many others. And since launching, LandFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts to Scholastic leagues in both Washington State and Indiana. And so we provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, the schools, the teams that we cover. And your generous donations make all of that possible. Every $200 raised will cover the operating costs for an entire regular season's broadcast. So if you appreciate the work and you're able to donate, please scan that Q card there on your screen and donate today.
And once again, thank you to LandFest for having us on. I think Hot Sauce, this might be one of the first times that we've actually gotten to commentate together. This was a lot of fun, right? WSSEA, again, always brings some good action, especially in the Rocket League scene. This group stage, this regular season, always so much fun to see.
Yeah, I know you got to host the championship, but I think this is our first time casting in the booth. And I'm excited. We got some hot sauce. We got some soy sauce. It was a saucy time for sure. And as always, we appreciate Zotac Gaming and LandFest as well. We'll remind everybody Valorant tomorrow at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific as well. And before we get going, we'd love to take a moment to shout out everybody behind the scenes here, always working so hard to run the streams and make it look smoothly, who they don't often get enough credit. So a big shout out to Jaden and Taylor behind the scenes, pressing all the fun buttons. Of course, all the competitors and everybody hanging out with us today, from the teachers to the students to the parents. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you as well. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss out on the action to come. My name is Hot Sauce. That handsome man to my digital right is Soy Sauce. You guys have been beautiful. Take care and enjoy the rest of your evening.